Eric Rossi, the guy with the eye. Today I'm here to talk about some of my favorite lenses from Nikon and Canon, my favorite gadgets for video, etc., and just accessories that you can have. I've seen a lot of these videos out there, and I think it's kind of a cool thing to bring up another talking point about, what's my favorite lens. I've had a couple emails that have asked, what's your favorite kind of video equipment? Because I say I do video. And I think it's kind of cool, some of the stuff that you can put on your HD SLR. Now, I really do want to get into, what are my favorite lenses? Well, one of my favorite ones is actually one of the ones that you're seeing me through right now. That's the Nikon 17-55 DX 2.8, which is great because it covers your wide angle range and your normal range, which instead of having like a 14-24 and the 24-70, it's kind of combined into one. And that's why I went with that. So I don't have, the 17 is technically an ultra wide, but that's why I don't have two lenses to do the same purpose. So I don't mind having something like this. But a lot of people say, well, do you miss the gap in between 50 to 70? No, not at all. I don't shoot really at 60 millimeters. The only time I probably will shoot one is hopefully I will be getting a macro or micro soon. But besides that, I don't mind that at all. But speaking at around 50 millimeters, one of my favorite Nikon lenses, and I do have two Canon at the end of this, one of my favorite Nikon lenses is the 50 millimeters 1.4D. This is one of the best lenses I think Nikon has made. Why? Because it's also one of their fastest. The 1.4, besides the 85 millimeter, which is a ridiculously amount of money, the 50 millimeter 1.4 is extremely fast. It's very, very small, as you can see, and it's it's actually pretty easy to use. And when you hit this 1.4, when you put it to 1.4, your focal plane is so slight, but when you hit this is amazing, the results you can get. But yeah, for being a standard lens, and especially on it being on a DX body, as I shoot with a D7000, this is 75 millimeter lens. Portraits, anything, easy to walk around, amazing for video. The bokeh you get with this is fantastic. So I would highly recommend a lens like this. But to keep going further up, as I said, around the 70 to 200, mark, I used to have the Sigma, but now I can officially say I'm a proud owner of the Nikon 70 to 200. Now, I recently did a video, maybe about a month ago, comparing the Sigma 70 to 200 to the Nikon 80 to 200, because this wasn't even around yet. And I felt the Sigma was actually not that good of a lens. I had the Sigma V1 before it switched to the version 2, and it kind of failed. Nikon was very, very sharp, handled a higher ISO with the D7000 as well. So I said, you know what, I have to get rid of the Sigma, and I did, thanks for credit. So I got the Nikon 70 to 200 millimeter version 1, but you know what, for the price, I couldn't beat it, so I got this. Now, what is this useful for? Everything and anything. Weddings, events, sports, action shots, whatever the heck you want, studio work. A fantastic lens to get. The version 1s are going at a really good price. I got mine on eBay for well under, $2,000. Holy crud. What a great lens. And you can put this on a monopod. It just has this simple thing that you can take on and take off. It's very, very simple. You can easily hook it up to a black rapid strap, in which I did when I shot a concert and event yesterday. So highly recommend getting something between the 70 to 200 range. A couple of people asked me about the Canon 70 to 200 f4. I'm not a fan of it. I know a lot of people are going to say, oh, you're trying to, talk about higher prices. Yeah, it's just the money that you're paying for that, you're not getting something that great. One of my friends does have this 70 to 200 f4, and he's very, very upset with it because it's just not a good lens. It's pretty plasticky, and you're not getting much. So kind of, just think about what you're doing with your money. But I do really want to transition to Canon lenses. One of my favorite, I don't want that to fall, one of my favorite has to be the Canon 85 1.2. Why? Because the thing is a beast. It is huge, and it's amazing. Oh my gosh, the bokeh, the video, at 1.2, it's extremely sharp. It's one of the best lenses ever made, I'd say, even over Nikon. So The 85 1.2 kind of really hit the mark, but the price at around $2,000 does not. But I love it. I mean, it's a great lens. It is a little heavy. I've used it a couple times, but you know what? You're getting fantastic results, especially even over the Sigma 85-1.4 and the Nikon 85-1.4. But it's just a lot of money. To each his own. I also want to point out I love the Canon's 100mm 2.8 macro lens. As I said, I'm looking into getting macro. I mean, I'm not going Canon, but I feel that Canon has put out one of the best micro lenses with the 100mm 2.8. So definitely look into them if you can. Not the 85 1.2. That's a ton of money. But if you have a ton of money, why not? Now going on to accessories, gadgets, little things. One of the greatest things I would always highly recommend, I know I'm not sponsored, is Black Rapid. Now, what is the point of a Black Rapid strap? A lot of people do know, but a lot of people don't know. What you do is, instead of it being, being a camera strap for around the neck, which, puts a lot of strain on your neck, especially if you're holding the, your camera with the 70-200, it's a lot pulling you down. What this allows you to do, it diverts it. You put it over your shoulder, and I think you can see it, and it, your camera falls at your hip. Now, a lot of people don't know about this thing. They're like, well, how safe is that? It's actually pretty safe. There's a little fastener here, the connector you put on the bottom of your camera or the lens mount. You screw it in, it hooks right in. You connect the tightness, and I felt extremely comfortably putting my 70-200 on this and just swinging around for under 50 bucks. If you get lucky, I got this for under 50 bucks on eBay. Why not? This is the RS07, which is fantastic, and this thing can come with a couple mods, so you can actually hold your cell phone and stuff like that. But I would never use this for video. There's no need, unless, say, you're doing something at a high angle and you're on a ladder. Use this to secure yourself there, as you're probably not using a tripod anyway. But for stills, I highly recommend getting a strap. The Black Rapid is extremely key. I would never, ever go without it. A couple quick other things. Follow focusing for video is extremely difficult. And those rigs go for over $300. So what do I recommend? What the hell is this? It's actually a $3 jar can opener that I got on eBay. But you can pick these up from any Bed Bath & Beyond, etc. And a lot of filmmakers are using this because it's $3. You're not spending an arm and a leg to get something like this. It's extremely simple to use. I'll grab my 50mm because I like to use prime lot for video anyway. You open it up, put it around the focus ring. This is why this here you can adjust accordingly to the lens. You put it down. Now, as I said, I'm shooting with a prime lens, so it doesn't have the manual automatic switch. Flip the manual, and you can easily, as you see, easily moving back and forth to focus. Smooth, and when you stop, it stops. It doesn't roll over. Yeah, I just ripped it, so it's covered with gaff tape. But besides that, overall, a couple more quick things. Off-camera flash, so I know this video is running a little long. Off-camera flash, the Young Nua's RF603s are fantastic. Instead of buying expensive pocket wizards that are over $100, $200, for under 30 bucks, you get both of these, which are transmitters and receivers. Great for off-camera flash. Another thing I highly recommend for doing either long exposures or trying to use faster shutter speeds or faster apertures in really bright conditions is something like this. This is a neutral density filter. This is a +8. This kills down a ton of light, as you'll see right here. It's not going to cover the whole thing, it's not the same thing, but as you can see, it really takes out a lot of the light coming in here. So I'll use this for video on a really bright day, so I can use an f2.8 or an f1.8 just to get something better that looks for video, just by using a neutral density filter. Even if it doesn't go on your camera, even if it doesn't screw in, just hold it in front. Pretty cool. Lastly, but not leastly, these things right here are one of the greatest things you could buy. Why? What are they? Oh, this one's dying, but They're little LED lights. These things are really, really cool for painting with light. And how cheap are they? You can get these for less than 25 cents a piece. I have about like 20 of these, and it's fun just to do long shutters and to blast with light. So overall, I just want to give you some of my favorite things. Video might be kind of long, but who cares? You know, tell me what your favorite gear is, and you know what? You know, talk about it. What makes it different for video? I'd love to hear, you know, what kind of, you know, rigs you use for video, so you're not spending an arm and a leg to get stuff. Eric Rossi, the guy with the eye. Subscribe, like this, comment below. See ya.